Welcome to this Prophetic Sound podcast. I am honored to have two of my dearest friends with me, actually co-founders of our ministry here in Santa Rosa Beach, Florida, Deb and Loren Miller. It's a God story of how the Lord had put us together. Literally didn't know anything about this precious couple. Holly and I were pastoring in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I was doing a midweek service, and this couple comes in to my midweek service, and they walk in the back doors, and I see them as I'm standing up front. And the Lord spoke into my spirit and said, make them a part of your leadership. I didn't even know they didn't even live in Cincinnati, Ohio, that they lived here in Santa Rosa Beach. And so I scheduled a meeting with them, and they informed me of that. And then several years later, the Lord had put it in my wife's heart that, Shawn, the Lord told you that they're supposed to be a part of our leadership. And so we were living in Israel at the time, going to be moving back here to the States. And I was just going to travel and just raise support for Israel until until that stint was over. But my wife said something to me. We were sitting on our rooftop in Herzliya, Patuach, and she said, you remember that couple, Deb and Loren? She said, you felt like that they were supposed to be a part of our leadership. And so I called them from Israel, and the rest is history. And here we are 8 years later. And now we're having this conversation right here in our ministry headquarters center on Highway 30A in Blue Mountain Beach, Santa Rosa Beach, Florida. This beautiful, beautiful edifice that the Lord has given us. And we've seen God do great things over the last 8 years. Tremendous.
It's been a ride.
It's been a ride. And so, let's talk about that just for a moment. When we think about, starting this work basically just with the four of us, Holly included, and you guys finding the home for us to plant this work in, and we basically buying it sight unseen, flew in, closed on it, and I remember the very first gathering, you guys, I said, get as many people there as you can. We'll tell them the vision, and let's just see what happens. Yes. And looking back from there all the way to here, just both of you take just a moment and talk about what comes to mind. Like when you reflect on God's faithfulness, like what comes to your heart?
We'll go first.
Mm-hmm.
I think the neatest thing about this whole experience has been so many times in your life you sow seed and you never get to see the fruit. We get to see the fruit. Mm-hmm. This is one time where the Lord just let us see all the fruit, So sometimes we lay in bed at night and we're just thinking, how did we get here? Mm-hmm. And, why us? Yeah. Why us, God? Why did you choose us to be the ones who would, kind of pioneer? We would move here, live here a while. Somehow we would be miraculously connected with Shawn Baker. Yeah. And then he would miraculously move here. Yeah. So I guess that's it. That's the main thing. We get to see the fruit. That's the things that's impressed me the most.
That's a great perspective. Yeah. What about you, Deb?
Wow. I can remember at the very beginning, because you would not let us advertise.
Right.
I wanted to put us on the paper. I'm like, so people need to know about this. And if one person would walk in, I'm like, okay, there's a person we got, Yeah. And now it's like so many people coming in. Just to see the before and after, it's mind-blowing. It's like, It's only God.
Yeah. She just hit on something I think is vitally important, because the truth is that the way that anything of the kingdom grows is not through natural means. Sure, there's natural effort, but what I'm getting at is that it happens through prayer, and it happens through fasting and prophetic declaration, and it happens through organically that way. That's how the kingdom works. It's how it grows, how it expands. And it happens through genuine love. And these two have been tremendous examples. You've helped shepherd, and you guys are shepherding right along with us. I don't know how many people you've taken to dinner or had in your home.
I know. I told you need to put it in the budget for me at some point.
They've helped so much on so many fronts. We were talking about legacy. And Holly and I were talking about, doing something special for you all on a big league level in the days ahead. Yeah. And we're thinking about legacy. What do you What do you want your legacy to be?
I think right now in the kind of current time, I'm excited about someday having some kind of an academy, a Bible college, because that seemed to be, at least in my opinion, was the biggest, well, it's kind of just a void in the culture here in the Emerald Coast.
Yeah.
There's just nothing really, nothing else that attracted me, or, it seems like we just don't have enough of it, So I'm excited about that, to just have some kind of a private school, academies, Bible college, and whatnot.
Yeah. What about you, Deb?
Well, I was thinking of, before we even built the new church, you having that dream about my daughter, who always said two things: I'll never come to Florida, 'cause it makes her hair frizzy, and I'll never go to your church. I mean, that was the two things. And then you had that dream that she was on the front row crying, and she said, my parents helped build this.
Yeah.
And you told me that, I immediately thought, this is at our funeral. It has to be at our funeral, because, and then to see her and her whole family serving, it makes me cry when I see that.
It's amazing. It's those little steps of obedience and that we take that plays into God's long-term plan. And in that moment, we don't know. You often hear me quote that verse out of the book of Psalms where he says, this will be written for a generation to come,
Yes.
right? A people yet to be created, that they may praise the Lord. And you know what's amazing? I think it was probably a year or two that I'd had that dream before your daughter moved here, and shared that with you about a year or so before, right?
We didn't even have the vision of the new building.
No,
that
no.
point.
And let's talk about that. In that dream, I remember it's still so vivid in my mind today that I walked into the sanctuary and she was sitting there all by herself. And I came and sat down next to her, and it had hit her. It had hit her that my mom and dad helped build this and plant this. And it was like she was walking in a revelation that it was for her.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that there was a legacy play for her as well. You know what I mean? And it had clicked.
Yes.
And so that gives me hope too. Like, that's ministered to me, because there's going to come a time, like even my own son's life, that it's going to click, right? And that's our hope. That's our goal, is that the next generation takes the baton and keeps it going.
That's what I see.
Yeah. And I would love for Brandy to be a Deb Miller to Jonah, when Deb, Lauren, and Shawn and Holly may be gone, right? That would be the hope,
Very much.
is that it keeps going that way. Yeah. And so as we sit here, and and there are people that are listening, people that are watching this, and they're feeling like, God's calling us to pioneer a work. What advice would you give them? What advice would you give those that feel that burden to pioneer a work? How would you instruct them?
Well, I would say, don't limit God in your mind, first off. But I think you used a little saying, the money is tied to the mission.
Yeah.
So if you're worried about the money, well, God's provided it already. It's just, it'll come to you. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So that's the advice I would give. Just have the faith that it's going to happen. God's sovereign. He's in control. And if he's called you to do it, he's going to walk with you.
He's absolutely going to walk with you through it. He's absolutely going to do it. And you know what? I tell you, I've seen that play out time and time again, and I know you have as well. Deb, what comes to your mind?
Well, we were totally retired when we met up here. I was bored, wasn't I? I'm like, we got to do something. I'm looking on the internet going, I'm thinking we could go to Africa. And he goes, bye. But anyway, I was restless. And so the church definitely took us right out of retirement. People go, how's retirement? We're not retired. Like, we just work for free.
Yeah. How many ministries are you involved in?
I'm down to 14.
Down to 14.
It was 18.
18. Wow. Yeah. And so, what about let's go spiritual here just for a moment. We've seen great things happen by giving God our yes, right? But that's come with great challenges. as well. You know, some of the battles that we've been through, some of the things that we've had to overcome. And, you know, when you're going through something like that and you've invested so much and you're seeing your faith tried, how does that make you feel? Like when you're in it? Because, you know, there's others going to be called to do what the four of us have done. And, you know, the enemy's going to turn the heat up.
Yeah.
And so you're going through that, reflecting through some of the storms that we've been through in the last 8 years, because we've had some biggies,
We've got some movies.
but God has been faithful.
Well, you've been such an amazing leader on how you've handled it all, so that's made it easier for us. Like, okay, he's got this. But yeah, stuff you walked through, man, it's been a lot.
I think it's easier to remember the little miracles. God gives you these little nuggets as you go along. And even if you're in the middle of a valley right now, you can always, you know, just look back and remember, like when we started, you know, the prophetic dream you had about the two warehouses with the driveway between them. And that just, it gives you so much encouragement.
Yeah.
You know,
That God's in it.
God's already laid this out. It's already been mapped out.
Yeah.
You're just walking through it with him, you know? So,
Yeah. So with that, I mean, you know, I think you're spot on that you have to revert back and rely upon those words,
Yes.
those prophetic confirmations to be able to get through it. Yeah. So so that dream that you just referenced there on that one, that was the one that one of our intercessors had some 15 years prior to us ever moving here to Florida. And so, to your point, God's got it all worked out. We just got to stay faithful and walk it out, right? And that's the key. Give me the last 8 years. What was one of your greatest highlights so far in the last 8 years?
There's been a lot.
Well, you can give me a couple if you'd like.
let's see. I guess one highlight was when we kind of had our, I think it was August of 23, when we had the new building done. And, you know, we didn't know that you had got this picture of the four of us.
Yeah.
And that kind of shocked us, like, because I'm kind of an introvert,
Yeah.
and I don't like to be in front of a camera.
Right.
Matter of fact, I'm behind the camera most of the time.
You're working the canvas. Yeah.
So Debbie's kind of the other way. She's a little bit more of an extrovert. So
Yeah, I thought it was going to be, I remember thinking this big picture, and I thought it was going to be like a Lion of Judah. And I was thinking, where am I going to put that?
Yeah.
'Cause you see my house is nothing but pictures, and then it was us. And Lauren said, I thought it was going to be a picture of the church that you were giving us. And it was us. I'm like, I didn't even remember us taking it. So it's awesome.
Yeah, that is.
That was a highlight.
Yeah. And so, you know, I look back in the last 8 years, and one of the things that sticks out to me is how the Lord has honored your all's faith. And you have sown seeds of faithfulness. And now the four of us are surrounded by so many people that are faithful. And so I look back and I say, God truly is not mocked, you know?
We have an amazing team. I mean, the
Amazing.
caliber of people and leadership is just, wow.
It's amazing.
Top notch.
Yeah.
It is top notch. And only God could do it. And he is doing it. And he's not done. And so now here we are doing this podcast, and we got the podcast, we got the broadcast, and now we're reaching millions of people. And I know this is going to touch, I mean, beyond what we could ever imagine, because people want to know the story. People want to hear it. You know, now you're looking at a global ministry. In 8 years, we have built facilities in various countries. As we're doing this now, we're in the process of building another one in Cambodia and Polk. And now we've got the pastoral training center and the dorms and stuff that we've built there in Nairobi, Kenya. Medical missions taking place in Eastern Europe. And there's just so much. Just leased the place in Armenia, doing missions in the Caucasus there. I mean, it's amazing. And then 5 days a week of what's happening. Is it not mind-blowing?
It's mind-blowing. We're blown away every day we think about it.
I think New Life is very unique because I've never seen or at least been part of a church where there's so many gifted people that God has just, it's like a magnet here. People are drawn here
Yeah.
who have the giftings that you need, you know, in a local church. Plus they have the giftings that you need to be a worldwide ministry.
Yeah.
It just kind of blows my mind because I've never seen that happen. And you know, the old 80-20 rule, you know, about 80% of the work is done by 20% of the people. That goes out the window here at New Life. There's people doing stuff everywhere. I don't even know the numbers, but I know there's hundreds and hundreds of people in ministry.
Yeah, I think we're almost 65% of our entire congregation is involved in some type of weekly or bi-weekly activity.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's definitely a different culture. Church culture is different at New Life
Yeah.
than anything anybody's ever experienced, at least on the Emerald Coast here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yet it's big, but we are like family. I love that.
Yeah. So our motto has always been from the beginning, a small church where a lot of people attend, right? And so I think we've worked hard, and you two have been instrumental in maintaining and protecting that culture and that reality. And it's amazing what we've seen the Lord do. And I'm so grateful for this couple. You know, history's not done being written here. God is continuing to do amazing things, and God is continuing to grow and expand this work on so many fronts. And Holly and I just stand in awe of what we have seen God accomplish and what we've seen the Lord do over the last 8 years. And but I look forward thinking 8 years from today, where are we going to be? And what is this conversation going to look like? You know?
What are we going to look like?
And what are we going? We're gonna be like Sarah. Sarah, by faith, received strength, and she must have been good looking because the King kept her. So there's hope for all of us, right? Where are we going to be in 8 years? It's going to be amazing. And here's where I think we would like to leave you today. Is that you know, I feel like that you have to be like Shamgar. You've got to start where you are and use what you got. And you've got to trust the Lord. And what God's after is God's just after your yes. It doesn't matter if it's a business, doesn't matter if it is a ministry, it doesn't matter if it's not even started yet. You just got to take that step and give God your yes and trust Him. Trust Him. He's going to do it. You're a person of purpose. Your life is tied to His kingdom. And God makes all things beautiful in time. Look, I know that firsthand. Deb and Loren know that also firsthand. I've watched this couple stay faithful to the Lord, and I've watched the Lord answer prayers for their family, for their grandchildren, and He's still doing it. He's still working, because we're all still a work in progress. But I guess the thing is this, is that when you do say yes, don't quit. Just do not quit. Stay committed to finish, and finish well, and leave the results up to the Lord. You know, I think that would be our advice to you is leave the results up to the Lord, because He's probably thinking bigger than you. And I know He's thinking bigger than me. He's thinking bigger than us, right? And so I think that would be our parting advice to those of you that are looking to tie in to God's prophetic purpose in this season of your life. Listen, we love you so much. We greatly appreciate your amazing support to this ministry. We could not do what we're doing without you. And we love you. And we just pray that it was an inspiration to you, to bring you insight, to have this conversation with the co-founders of this work that God has used the four of us to pioneer here in this Emerald Coast. But to God be all the glory. So we love you so much. We greatly appreciate it. Thanks for being a part of this Prophetic Sound podcast.